We'll call to order the Brookings City Council meeting for Monday, February 26, 2026 at 5:30 p.m. If we'll all rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Councillor Malmberg. Councillor Gelada.
Here.
Councillor Martin.
Here.
Councillor Fulton. Mayor Grada.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay, moving on, we will go to ceremonies, appointments, and announcements. First is for the reappointment of Jamie Armstrong to the Parks and Recreation Commission. Is there any discussion?
I'll move to reappoint Jamie Armstrong to the Parks and Recreation Commission in position number 4 to expire February 1st, 2026. Is that right?
Is that right?
That would,
This was the 26th.
This is how the car came to me.
Okay.
I think it could be read like this
It's
is when it was
expiring.
expiring this time, and then the next term will expire, I believe, 2020.
okay.
I second the motion.
How about I'll amend my motion. I move to reappoint Jamie Armstrong to the Parks and Recreation Commission, position number 4.
Do I have a second?
I second the motion.
Call to question?
Councillor Martin.
Yes.
Councillor Gelada.
Yes.
Mayor Grada.
Yes.
The motion carries.
Item number 2, the reappointment of Linda Matlock to the Budget Committee. Any comments, discussion? Do I have a motion?
I'll move to reappoint Linda Matlock to the Budget Committee for position number 4.
I second the motion.
Call the question?
Councillor Gelada.
Yes.
Councillor Martin.
Yes.
Mayor Grada.
Yes.
The motion carries.
Reappointment number 3, Lindsay Coatney, I think it says, to the Budget Committee. Any discussion or questions? Do I have a motion?
I'll move to reappoint Lindsay Coatney to the Budget Committee, position number 5.
I'll second. Call the question?
Councillor Gelada.
Yes.
Councillor Martin.
Yes.
Mayor Grada.
Yes.
The motion carries.
And the last reappointment would be for George Skip Watwood III to the Planning Commission. Any discussion or questions? Do I have a motion?
I'll move to reappoint Skip Watwood to the Planning Commission, position number 5.
Do I have a second?
I second the motion.
Call the question?
Councillor Martin.
Yes.
Councillor Gelada.
Yes.
Mayor Grada.
Yes.
The motion carries.
Okay, well, we'll move on to agenda item E, oral request and communications from the audience. Seeing as there's none, we will move on to consent calendar F. Is there any discussion or comments in regard to the consent calendar?
I'll move to approve the consent calendar.
I'll second. Call the question?
Councillor Martin.
Yes.
Councillor Gelada.
Yes.
Mayor Grada.
Yes.
The motion carries.
Moving on to staff reports, public hearing ordinances, resolutions, and final orders. We will start with item number 1, authorize signatories for all city financial activities.
Counselor Mayor, this is a procedural thing whenever we have a change in office or staff, our signers on the bank. The bank's really specific on wanting a resolution and for the minutes to name specific positions. So this is to update now with Mayor Pareda in office, and so we can get the signers fixed on the accounts.
Is there any comments or discussion?
Nope.
Do we have a motion?
I'll move to adopt resolution 26-R-1287, authorizing signatories for all city financial activities currently as follows: Phoebe Pareda, Mayor; Andrew Martin, Council President; Timothy Rendell, City Manager; Anella Ellers, Finance Director; Anthony Barron, Public Works and Development Services Director, and removing any and all previous signatories not named here.
I'll second. And call the question?
Counselor Chalana.
Yes.
Counselor Martin.
Yes.
Mayor Pareda.
Yes.
The motion carries.
Moving on to staff report number 2, resolution authorizing application for USDA Rural Development Grant.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I work closely with Representative Val Hoyle's office on successfully getting $1 million appropriation, funding our Easy Street water line replacement. However, that still requires us to do a formal application through the USDA. So the resolution is to authorize the city manager to apply for the grant. The Easy Street water line replacement project is identified as a high priority improvement in the city's water master plan due to aging, undersized infrastructure, and fire flow deficiencies. The project will replace approximately 2,950 linear feet of water main along Easy Street between Mardon Court and Fern Avenue, improving water system reliability, hydraulic performance, and public safety. USDA Rural Development requires City Council authorization for the city manager to submit a formal grant application. Any questions?
So the financial impact of the match, is that for the upcoming budget, or is this something that we already have in a fund budgeted?
I don't believe we identified, we didn't know we were going to get this last year when we proceeded with budgets, but we do have funding available in our water SDCs and water system replacement funds for the match.
So yeah, we will be discussing that at budget time. We'll probably have a little bit better idea how much that might be, so,
But there's sufficient funds to cover the matching percentage that's necessary?
yeah.
And what's the timeline of the grant application and the funding and the project itself?
The grant application needs to be completed within 45 days of our kickoff meeting, which was on January 12th. I've already started the application process. It's quite extensive. And then as far as the project, it needs to be completed by December 2027. We already have engineering looking at developing that plan. But as far as actually starting the construction, that would be something better asked by Director Barron.
And if the project's not finished in time, does that put the grant?
That would jeopardize our funding, correct. But it's a pretty straightforward budget project. We've actually identified this back in 2014 in the Water Master Plan. There's already the initial concept developed. So unlike some of our more complicated projects, this is something that I think we can move forward fairly quickly on.
So I just wanted to say, first of all, I appreciate the foresight of the department heads going back a couple of years when they first talked about creating this grant writing position, and then great job, Wendy, identifying this grant and getting on it. But this is exactly what was discussed when when the idea for this position became available, and it's glad to see the park project that's been approved, and now identifying this grant, but for seizing these opportunities. So good job on that.
This is an enormous amount of money for our community, and I'm so grateful, as Councilor Martin has said, for the efforts of staff in identifying these projects and allowing us to get things completed that would be a real stretch in our budget. So I'm very, very grateful for all of those efforts and all that hard work. I know that it's not an easy task to manage those grants. So thank you for all of your hard work in adding that to your plate.
Was the Easy Street project already planned and the grant is making it happen? Or is the project happening because of the grant?
The project is happening because of the grant. It was already identified in our water master plan, and we have multiple projects that have been completed in that plan and that are moving forward. One that you'll hear about as a new counselor is the Tidewater Reservoir replacement that's coming up. Yeah, when I've been talking to state and federal representatives about getting congressional funding and talking to Tony about projects that we have on our wish list and that we can't afford. This came to the top of the project list and went for it, and we're very, very fortunate to receive such a large grant. And thank you again to Val Hoyle's office for making this happen and included in that congressional funding package.
And just some background, a lot of cities our size aren't able to capitalize on these type of grants. Bigger communities are, but they don't have the ability or the time to write the grants. So Brookings decided to hire a grant manager and writer to look for this type of funding. And then also the city staff over the years has budgeted in different capital improvement funds, the funding to go after these for matches. So,
I know, I wasn't aware of the position until I came on here, and I just thought what a wonderful idea. If you can get any of them, it pays for itself.
Most certainly, already it has, and more. And even the 25% match or whatever the matching funds are, can often be prohibitive for smaller areas.
Yep.
So we're grateful for the hard work of staff to have that set aside too, that we're able to utilize those grants because we do have dollars reserved for that.
And this is one of those grants that we didn't have a whole lot of time. It's one of the ones they just popped and told us we have some money available, and we jumped on it very quickly. And like I said, Wendy did a great job and secured it for us and
Awesome.
make a difference.
Well, do I have a motion? I'll move to adopt Resolution 26-R1286, authorizing the city manager to apply for the USDA Rural Development Grant in the amount of $1 million for the Easy Street Water Line Replacement Project.
I'll second.
Call the question?
Counselor Gelato.
Yes.
Counselor Morgan.
Yes.
Mayor Frida.
Yes.
The motion carries.
Moving on to the next agenda item. It's item number 3, water purchase agreement with Rainbow Rock Service Association.
Madam Mayor and Council, tonight we have before you a water purchase agreement. It's a bulk water purchase agreement with Rainbow Rock Service Association. I think went back to 2018 when the first discussion started happening with Rainbow Rock, and they were essentially notified, I believe, by DEQ that there were some things that are getting ready to happen as far as the requirements with they have a small treatment for their water distribution out there and a reservoir, a tank. And so they initially kind of saw the writing on the wall and began discussions with the city. And so over the past 8 years, I think we've had 7 workshops to discuss the particulars in this particular agreement. There's 2 different parts of our RSA, and then you have the Pacific Vista Condo Association out there. That's basically their HOA. The service group is what provides the services for water and sewer out there. And so they started going into discussions with the city manager, and I believe at the time it was Janelle or Gary back in 18.
Mine started with
I think it started with Gary, and then Janelle, and then the baton got passed to me when I got here about 1.5 years ago. And I've had several meetings with their board, and they've come to workshops and been very diligent in trying to get something done. And essentially, in a nutshell, what they're wanting to do is we have a tap via a hydrant out there. I think Tony was about 200 feet away from the Rainbow Rock. And what we'll do is, if it passes, they'll be tapping into that, so we don't have to run anything out. And any of the infrastructure that's going to be needed with Rainbow Rock in order to access this water, they will be paying for and doing that, as well as the SDCs that will be included as well, which SDCs is approximately about $27,000. So, and the way this is set up is once the SDCs are made, and then we move forward, Tony and his crews will work with Rainbow Rock and getting the line there. And what they'll do is they'll be, I believe, pumping it back to the reservoir, and then it'll feed back into they have 60 units out there. And I know there was some discussion earlier about the capacity for a complex like this. Typically, from what the gentleman have told me, usually it's only about half of the units are occupied at any given time. Most of them are second homes and utilized for Airbnb and those type of things as well out there. So we feel confident that there's not going to be a disruption to our water supply, and if it ever was, there's provisions in here as far as the water rationing goes that are laid out, I believe, in Section 3. So before you tonight is an agreement. We have a pretty lengthy agreement with these guys, mostly because it works both ways. I mean, they're going to essentially let their plant stop and then just move forward with purchasing bulk water from us. And then eventually, we're also in discussions with them at some point, talking to them about their wastewater treatment facility they have out there, which is going to be under the microscope, or maybe already is, with DEQ as well, and some possibilities once we get the USDA wastewater extension collection out there to possibly do that. But in order for them to do that, they're going to have to annex into our city limits, which is can also be a win-win for us. It's a win for them because they'll be afforded city services that they don't currently receive. It's a win for us because we'll start garnering a big chunk of the property taxes out there for the city as well as have a customer for both water and sewer out there as well. So before you tonight is the agreement. Again, like I said, I think since I've been here, we've had a couple workshops on this, and prior to that, the previous council did too. So, but this before you tonight it's a pretty simple agreement for them to purchase bulk water. And at this time, I would entertain any other questions.
I don't have any. I had a number of questions, but
Sure.
There was someone else asked, and you sent out an email with a number of questions and answers. And
Yeah,
it sounds like we have the capacity, and there are methods in here to terminate the agreement or to ration
Sure.
if necessary.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I appreciate you getting back, ensuring that the infrastructure is already in place and that there's not going to be any hardships to our water production and the needs of our community. I was wondering, there's the 30 days of receipt of the payment. Is that going to cause any burden on staff? Is that going to be something we'll be able to meet? Okay. And the only other thing I was wondering was you sent out a new rate sheet, and I see on the out of city limits for single family, multi, and commercial a $6.76 per 100 cubic feet in the fee schedule, but this shows $5.75 per cubic feet.
Yes, the city managers, prior to my coming here, had negotiated essentially, since they're out of city limits, they negotiated a 15% discount, so, for
Okay.
that, so.
Okay.
And that was based on, they looked at other places where this has been done. I think it was Coos Bay area maybe. And they kind of,
Modeled it after that?
yeah, went with what other communities are doing for the same situation.
A bulk discount.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Councilor Martin, any questions?
I noticed there's several interested parties here. Any comments from anybody, Rainbow Rock, about this?
Yeah, I'm the president of the Rainbow Rock Service Association, Mail and Best. I just appreciate the city council's time. Whatever the vote goes either way, I appreciate the time that the city has taken with this, what the city manager has taken with us. I appreciate it. Tony's been working on this for many years, so I appreciate everything the city's done, no matter what the vote is.
I know just in my time on the council, we've had 2 workshops about it, and even in the documentations in the packet, we say how long back this conversation has been going. I know that it is a continuing need in our state, that infrastructure all over is failing, and that service operators are very difficult to come by. So I know that there's a lot of communities and districts in really difficult positions. So I'm glad that that we have the water and that we're able to enter those discussions and potentially provide the need of our neighbors. And I do want to ask, and am I understanding correctly that if it moves into the wastewater also needing to be added in, that there's already discussions that would be an annexation, not us now trying to come up with another agreement over those services as well?
No, Madam Mayor, that would be a whole different set of discussions and negotiations, but primarily focused around the annexation and the SDCs that will be required to do that as well.
Okay.
So I support this agreement, and a big reassurance is the communication from city staff today talking about the impact on the water use, that during peak use, I guess in August, that we're only at half our capacity.
Yes.
And of course in the winter we have a big surplus of water. The reassurance that it won't affect people inside the city limits.
No, sir. Councilor Martin, we looked that in, put that into consideration, as well as I'm sure the previous city managers before me did as well. But if you look at it from this standpoint, with the 60 units out there and typically only about half of them being utilized at a time, you're essentially talking about a small motel as far as that. And I did go talk to Kim Kennedy in our accounts receivable, and she said, oh, we have a lot more accounts, commercial accounts that are that use quite a bit more water than this on a daily basis. So,
and I appreciated the assurances as well that this is the city isn't going to be bearing the burden of the cost for this, and neither would the taxpayers. So I appreciate those assurances from staff. Any further questions or discussion? No. Do I have a motion?
I'll move to authorize the city manager to sign a water purchase agreement between the city of Brookings and Rainbow Rock Service Association.
A second motion.
Call the question?
Counselor Martin,
Yes.
Counselor Jalata,
Yes.
Mayor Breda.
Yes.
The motion carries.
Okay, the last item, number 4, is council liaison discussion and appointments.
I'm looking for this.
43, page 43.
I know I've seen it. There we go. I'm sorry. I apologize. 43, I'm going backwards. Yes, Mayor and Council, the council liaison positions have traditionally been reviewed periodically with a change in elected positions at the request of the mayor or the council. The city council last visited the liaison positions in January of 2024 with a new councilor and several vacancies. Many are optional and can be filled by elected officials or staff. In addition to the vacant positions, the mayor and council might want to change representation in some committees, commissions, or board. You have before you tonight an updated, and apologize, missed a few of those with the spreadsheet, and but not all of them require an alternate. And so what we're asking for you tonight is to approve discuss and approve the liaisons starting from moving forward.
Is this a change to any of them or just reappointments?
Well, we would have both. There's a couple that Mayor Hodges was formerly
Yes.
the appointee. And we are missing 2 counselors tonight that can't weigh in if there's areas they would like to step up. And I would be interested in certainly hearing your thoughts as well as a new member, if there's areas that you feel that you might fit well.
I'm going to limit my time to just the city council.
I want to suggest that we add TPAC since we're getting close to having the council decision on that, and also the Chamber of Commerce. I think we should have a liaison for.
I think this is maybe a discussion table better when the full council is
That's
here.
exactly what I was getting ready to say, because without the other 2 members here, it's going to be, there may be things that I wasn't, I didn't realize we were going to have 2 out tonight. So that we can definitely table this to the next meeting, so have a better discussion and get their input as well. And as Councilor Martin said, council will be brought the final resolution for the reforming the TPAC at the next council meeting. So then we'll have liaisons for them as well, and the chamber.
Okay.
So in
Any
the
more
form of a
discussion for
motion,
now then?
motion to table it.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and, I don't believe this is an item that needs a
Requires
motion,
that.
just
Okay.
just for discussion
Okay.
purposes. So, unless legal would tell us otherwise. Okay. Then we'll move on to item number H, remarks from the mayor and councilor, city manager.
Just like to welcome Councilor Jalata to his first meeting here. So we're taking it easy on you pretty well tonight.
I
So.
appreciate it.
And appreciate you stepping up to the plate and taking the commitment for coming onto the council for the next 3 years. And I think you'll fit in really well with this group, and look forward to that. Got a lot of great things going on in the community. We, as I shared with you in my 5 for Friday, we started last week with our My City thing with the school district, and I talked to Mr. Bennett, and we're going to have a group of 4th graders that went through the My City 3rd grade And for those out there who don't know what My City is, it's something that the city started last year where we're going to K-School and having programs with third graders. And this month, we had the police chief and community resource officer out there, and one of the supervisor for our dispatch team was out there too to do a little presentation and let the kids ask questions, even do a little recruiting. Some of the kids wanted to know, what do I need to do when I grow up to be a police officer? So I've never had one that said, how do I do it to be a city manager yet? But I'm still waiting. I've been doing this for about 20 years and I haven't found one yet. And it's a great program. It's actually the League of Oregon Cities last year went through the conference and they had these workbooks, these activity books for kids. So I went out to the school and talked to them, and so we do 5 programs, 5 months in a row. Next month, Mayor Parade is going to be talking to 100 third graders, which I can tell you, it's a little bit intimidating. I'd rather talk to 100 adults than 100 third graders staring at you. So, and then we'll have our public works director, our fire chief, and then myself. I'll do the last one in May. And as a result from last year being our inaugural class, I guess you could say, to do this, those third graders that are now in 4th grade, Mr. Bennett's going to select a child from each one of the 4th grade classes, so there'll be a 4, and they're going to form an advisory group and come to the March Parks and Rec Commission meeting and give their take on what we could do to improve our parks and things that they'd like to see at the parks and those type of things. So we're trying to get these kids engaged at an early age, and they're going to be the ones hopefully sitting up here someday, and I think it's a great program and getting them started. So that's all I have at this point.
Councilor Martin?
Thanks to everybody who came to the nice meeting. We become our regulars who are here almost every meeting, and then the citizens from Rainbow Rock, and glad to see that the agreement has moved forward and the city's able to work with the residents out there. And then just reiterating my comments from earlier, the team leaders, the department managers, having the foresight on the grant writer and manager position, and how that has already proven to be successful. So great job on that, and glad to see this moving forward and progressing successfully.
Councilor Gilletta, anything you would like to say?
Yeah, I had an open question, and I was hoping the other councilors would be here also, but I've been reading as much as I could absorb the last couple of weeks, and I know that 3 of us cannot meet in private to talk about city business because it constitutes a quorum, and it's subject to the Oregon private meeting laws. Can 2 of us?
Yes.
And the reason I ask, I would like to meet with each of the councilors individually and just try to, accelerate my learning curve. But it's gray. There's some grayness to this, and that's why it's really asking opinions. Do you think it's too risky?
No, if you're wanting to discuss informational things, there's nothing wrong with that. And I think that's what you're getting at.
Yeah.
As far as that goes. There's nothing wrong with you sitting and having a cup of coffee and talking to them about,
the general
things here with the city. Yes.
Okay.
Nothing wrong with that at all.
If it's educational in a general manner, then
Yes.
yes. If it's something that is going to be planned to discussion
No. Yeah.
or decisions later, absolutely not. City business
think-
always happens in the public forum.
I think it has to be. You have to be careful.
Absolutely.
It's without specific topics. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And League of Oregon Cities is a wealth of information. I'd encourage you to check out their website, and there's a lot to catch up. I would imagine you've already understood that once within your term you are required to complete public meeting law training.
Yeah.
And if you're able to attend conferences, I would also highly recommend that. There's a lot of really great information and networking too, and that can often help as you're engaging in our city managers' city matters to hear what other communities are doing.
No, I went through those Oregon Public Meeting Laws seminars, online things, and even then walked away with, this is great. This is, and it's enough to be careful of that it was just offering or asking opinions that if we want to avoid this, okay, but if we think it's, can be accomplished.
I'm
Reasonable.
wondering if our city attorney would have any comments that she would like to add.
Sorry, 1 second, I had to get my unmute button going there. No, I agree with everything that's been said. I think you can talk in generalities all day long, but if you can't discuss things that are going to be coming up for a vote or maybe considered by the full council for a decision. And if, there's ever any trepidation about that or you get close to something like that, you can always cure it by just disclosing at a council meeting if you're deliberating for a decision. Like, Councilor Martin and I, back when I was, getting oriented to being a councilor, we discussed this particular issue. We didn't talk about the decision or anything, but I got some information from him. Just something like that kind of helps clear the slate for any bias. But it's best to just avoid even going close to that line if you can help it.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Lori.
And for everybody at home, this is not our city attorney that's AI. We have a device here called what's called the owl. And she can see us, and unfortunately, this is all we get, Lori. We get no, we don't get to see you at all. Sorry.
But I will say we can hear you very well.
I know,
and
it's great.
I very much appreciate that.
It's great.
In the past, it hasn't been so easy to hear you.
Yes, I agree. And I would just like to let you know, I want to get out to an actual council meeting someday. I might be up there for some legal matters, in the next few months. So maybe I'll get to meet y'all in person finally. That'd be great.
That'd be fantastic.
Yeah, thank you.
And I would just recommend that when you have questions to email Tim and
Yes.
talk about it. And if you want clarification from Lori, the city attorney, go through Tim and let him know questions that you have, and they're super responsive of getting back to you on that.
Yeah, thank you.
So I guess I'll conclude with my remarks. I want to just say a word of thanks for all the support that I've been shown from the community and staff as I've stepped into this new role. It's very appreciative. I'm grateful for your patience as I get my feet underneath me. I also wanted to ask of council, I was approached by the county commissioners to attend the panel for the town hall that happened, and I declined the invitation because I didn't want to do that without first asking council's input. They are going to be having workshops come up and would like the city managers of the communities within the county to attend, as well as a council representative. So I wanted to, it's unfortunate we don't have the rest of the counselors here, but I would welcome thoughts. I'm willing to do that. I think it's important that we weigh into the thoughts of our specific community as they approach those discussions. So I'm open to hearing what my fellow counselors who are here think on the idea, or if there's someone else on the council that they feel like they would like to represent the community at those discussions.
I would just urge that the county commissioners, if they have issues that they want to present to the council, that they come to our meeting and address the council as a whole. And I've seen a couple of instances with the county commissioners doing it in and around the council with county staff, and I don't appreciate the way that it was handled. And I think if the commissioners or the sheriff even have issues that they want us to be involved with, they should come here and they have an opportunity to speak before our meeting and let us know what their concerns are and how they want us to be involved.
I think they're really seeking a big think tank. They've got OSP and many agencies involved in these discussions of just trying to look at how we can tackle some of the concerns of the county constituents as a whole. So this isn't necessarily any specific decisions, just looking for input from the community at large. Maybe that's a better topic to discuss when more of the councils are here. I know they are having a meeting, I believe, on the 4th, and in their commission meeting, they specifically requested council and city managers from all the neighboring communities be a part of those discussions to represent their local communities. So I was hoping we could get some input on that for today, but it sounds like...
Are there specific topics that they're discussing, or is it general topics?
Well, it's specifically addressing concerns in regards to some of the negative impacts of the homeless community, plus the perspective of the homeless community, services, how to manage the many perspectives and
So it's all
impacts in the community.
All related to the meeting last week?
Correct.
Okay.
To that town hall, yeah. So they're just looking at starting more in-depth conversations and trying to get broader perspective from all of the service providers and entities that are within the county. And then the only last thing I wanted to say is that I have privately extended my regrets and my apologies to fellow counselors and to Anthony Bond for not communicating my thoughts clearly to the community as to the motions that happened at our last meeting. I want to state for the record that there were 2 of us that felt strongly for one candidate and 2 that felt strongly for another, but there was one candidate that we all strongly supported and agreed on. And so I felt that best represented the council as a whole. So I just wanted to put that on public record. And with that, if there's no other comments,